What's going on? This is DeVore. You are tuning in to the Morning Commute, Not for Debate podcast. Welcome to another episode of Not for Debate. I know it's been a long while again. It's just the two of us today, just me and Banks. What's going on, Banks?
What's up, bro? What's going on? It's good. What's up, people?
Been flip-flopping back and forth from Miami, going back and watching the training camp, about the dilemma that happened a couple weeks ago about the scrimmage that I ended up having to be delayed for, but I'm going to try to make it up there again as soon as possible, hopefully for a preseason game. But what's going on with you?
I'm good, man. I'm just working. Getting ready for the regular season in terms of the podcast. Like I said, just working. Got a lot of stuff going on in the work life right now, a lot of opportunity. So I'm just trying to make sure I take advantage of every opportunity, and most importantly, trying to make sure this podcast goes what it needs to go. I can't wait for the season, man. I can't wait for us to just become a weekly thing. Preseason has been kind of dull so far, but, almost time.
I've actually enjoyed preseason a little bit, which we're probably going to get into a little bit later on down the road during the show. But preseason has been interesting for me as far as watching my boys play. Your boys have gotten a little bit of criticism as far as your defense, the way y'all played against the New York Giants, but we're going to get into that in a second.
Suspect, man.
But for the folks at home, they didn't know that we actually linked up in Miami. What was that? What was that restaurant called that we actually went to?
The Knife.
The Knife.
The Knife.
That was
your first time coming to Miami. You had that bad of an experience, man. I hate to say it, man.
So I'm just gonna tell the people, like, at first it started off. What was that? Where we got them daiquiris from? Supposedly mine was supposed to be alcohol free because I had to drive back, but for some reason it felt like I was just getting hot all of a sudden, more hot than usual, and that Miami heat. But
I'm sorry.
I said I was a lot more hot than usual in that Miami heat because I was struggling to make it through that day, considering the fact that it ain't nothing like Maryland.
Yeah, nah. I tell people, man, it's nothing like the Florida heat, especially in Miami. The further south you go, the hotter it gets, man. It's very dry. It's humid. We can be in 86 degree weather, but the feels temperature has it feeling like 96, 97. You turn into a baked chicken out there. That's how hot it is.
Shoot, the way you was coming out there, you came out in all black.
Right. And it was the biggest mistake I made in my life that day.
Shoot, the biggest mistake you made that day. That was the biggest mistake I made. I'm probably the next time when I come back down to Miami, I'm gonna wear the jersey, but I'm probably not gonna wear nothing else underneath that.
Yeah, I told you, man.
I had 2 layers on. I was like, damn, this don't feel nothing like Maryland.
Right.
Like I could literally wring my white tee out. That's how soaked I was, and I wasn't even running. Like I was just walking around, just observing things, and I was hot. But let's try to get back to this restaurant experience real quick, because ever since we got back, me and my girl got back, she has refused to eat certain meats because of this one particular experience. Now, if memory serves me correct, I believe it was a all you can eat spot. What was the price at that place? Because I know you said it was a little bit pricey. Actually, you recommended the place.
Yeah, it was. It was recommended to me, so I recommended it to y'all. It was for what it was worth, for the price that you paid. I think it was a nice little combo. I mean, considering the fact that you got your meal, you got a salad, you got a bottle of wine, you got your buffet. I mean, it's a pretty good deal considering the price. It just, I don't know, the food was just I was let down. I mean, I thought the knife was better than that.
I felt like the sides were a little bit. They should have did something with the sides a little bit better because, like, I felt like it was just mostly salad as far as sides. Like, you didn't get like, I don't know what Peruvian folks eat as far as side. This don't want to offend nobody, but I'm expecting like some macaroni and cheese or some French fries or something. I ain't see none of that. All I got is macaroni salad.
No, that's black folks.
So I would probably say that restaurant is more towards the people that actually do like to drink wine, because usually a bottle of wine is like, but $10-15 a bottle. So you both got, your own separate bottle. So I'll probably say, what was the price? It was like $32 per person or something like that. Right. So it's $32 per person. So I would say, yeah, it's most definitely worth it for y'all two that actually got the wine. But for me, considering the fact that I had to drive back, I really didn't have to benefit it. Now I just want to give I just want to give the folks at home a little brief description of what I witnessed when I walked over to that grill to go grab the meat. Do you remember when we looked at, dog?
Yes, and I witnessed you panic like a little girl. But little do you know, for the people that's sanitary freaks like my boy DeVore seems to be, a grill is the perfect place, to be when it comes down to bacteria and all that stuff, because it's a thing called heat, fire. Bacteria doesn't pretty much live there because of the heat. So I don't think you knew that, but I get what you're saying though. It was kind of a unsanitary situation to be a part of, considering what you were saying. But I'll let you explain it to him.
I just wanted to point this out to you that in my regular day job, I go into a lot of restaurants. I look at a lot of grills. I look at a lot of floors. I see a lot of rodents. And to be quite honest with you, that grill was probably the top 3 worst I've ever seen, considering the fact that it was not scraped down properly. That's flag number 1. That's flag number 1. Flag number 2, the fact that my man, when I asked for some corn, he literally reached the corn out of the container, reached it halfway across the grill. So the corn juices got all over the meat, man. It got all over the meat. The raw meat, the cooked meat, all the meat. Like that's cross. That's what you call cross contamination. That is not sanitary, bro.
It's not, but it's not the end of the world. You didn't die.
Shoot, if I did, I wouldn't be able to sue now, would I?
No, you wouldn't. I'm very sorry that your experience was just that bad, man. I feel bad. As a friend, I'll make it up to you, bro. In a good way. That pause. In a good way.
I was actually looking forward to this. I was like, you know what? We're gonna spend a little bit outside of the budget. We're gonna go up into that higher class type of, restaurant of the because $32 a little bit much for me. I'm used to going and getting the cheeseburger for 10. So us paying that steep price for what we paid for, I was excited. But next time, you might as well just take me to like a hole in the wall burger spot or something, because if you, I just didn't like that first experience at that Peruvian spot. I just didn't.
Well, no worry. Next time you come down to Miami, we'll pick another spot to go to. I definitely recommend Texas at Brazil, but we'll have to see. Man.
Texas at Brazil.
Yeah, it's actually it's better than that.
What kind of food they sell?
Brazilian. It's a Brazilian steakhouse.
I think we need to take it slow. Maybe we should just go to a regular American steakhouse first.
Golden Corral.
Golden. Okay. Y'all got a Golden Corral out there?
Yeah, man.
Now, let me ask you this about the Golden Corral, dude. Because at mine back in the day, they used to give you out the complimentary rolls, and they used to take it to the table, fresh. Now you actually have to go up to the line and pick the rolls from the line.
A lot has changed over the years, man. It's not as great.
I can see that.
Unfortunately.
I can see that folks try to get cheap. They want to start skipping on the complimentariness, and that's the reason why people keep coming back to them restaurants, because of the complimentary things that customers actually get.
Fact.
Yeah. So I feel we're gonna have to mark that on our calendar sometime in the near future. But it's been a while since we actually talked about some sports. So I'm so apologies for Wes not being able to be here. I just wanted to wish him a happy birthday on the podcast. His birthday was it Friday or Saturday?
It was Friday.
Yeah, so again, I wanted to wish
Wes
happy birthday. Again, was it 32? Big 32?
Nah, 31 actually.
31? Oh, okay.
He's the same age as me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're young guys.
Well, I'm younger. I'm about to hit 29. No, hell no, not 29. 28. Excuse me, I'm 28. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's one of the things I do. Like usually when I turn, like I want to turn 27, I call myself 28. So, I'll brace myself for the next year so I wouldn't come to a surprise when it actually did come up. But yeah, we gonna jump into some football, man. I'm so happy I get to have you all to myself. No offense to West, but it's especially these topics today. I got to get up on you on this one.
We gonna see.
But we gonna kick it off with Antonio Brown. An Antonio Brown report saying that he's reporting that he is not going to play football. He's going to go out and retire if he's unable to play with his specific helmet that he's been playing with over the course of his NFL career. Now, I'll give you the details about this. The NFLPA and the NFL tested multiple helmets and multiple of the old helmets, and they ruled them unsafe, and they gave new recommendations for new helmets. And there have been other players that had old helmets that they're not approved for the 2019 season either, that are forced to play with other helmets.
Dramatic, man. Just freaking dramatic, man. It's dramatic.
You say, wouldn't you say? Would it be possible for them to custom make something more comparable to Antonio Brown's helmet?
Well, first off, as a former athlete, I would say, I understand certain things are just, it's like in a way. But I mean, come on, helmet, man, like, come on, man, like, I mean, what else can this guy come up with, man? Like, after a while, it's just I don't know, man. I don't know about Antonio Brown. Great player, just terrible freaking teammate, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know much about him, but great player. Great player. But he just seems to just want the light to always be on him. Like, it's just a chauvinistic attention seeker, man. It's just like, come on, bro. Like, how much extra do you have to do every time something comes out? It's like when the NFL gets boring, he has to remind us of who he is. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, but hey, I mean, whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat.
Right. Wouldn't you say it is a little bit similar to the whole Michael Vick situation with them particular jerseys?
I mean, what do you mean by that? You mean, oh, well, jerseys is different. Like, the whole Michael Vick thing was about look, about appearance. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's cosmetics. I mean, Michael Vick made a great point. The Falcons jersey was it was ugly. Like it was ugly. It was an ugly jersey, and as people have always said, it's just like the Detroit Lions. You know, after a while, they made a transition. They switched their jerseys up, and now look at their jerseys now. They have one of the best jerseys in the league now. And for so long, that blue silver just got so to look at, and that's how it was for the Falcons for a while, a long time. The Falcons' old retro, jersey with Jamal Anderson and Chris Chandler at quarterback, and Sean Jefferson at receiver, and all those guys. That jersey was ugly in my opinion. The better one they had was the red version of that one. I don't know if you remember that one that had the red helmet to go with it. That was nice. Right. But that black one was just terrible. So
Right. So if you really think about, if let's say if Antonio Brown did decide he wanted to retire, you just think back to what the Oakland Raiders had to give up to get Antonio Brown from the Pittsburgh Steelers back in March. They gave up a 2019 third round pick and a 2019 fifth round pick, and also offered Antonio Brown a contract extension, making the contract more than $50 million with $30 million guaranteed. Well, at the time, that made him the highest paid receiver in the NFL. So consequently, if he does, that's just the Raiders for you. That's the black hole. They just end up suffering the consequences of their own personal greed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's definitely the thing with the Raiders. Definitely the thing. But that's just Antonio Brown, man. Antonio Brown is going to give us something to talk about, because that's just who he is. Like I said, he seems to really be focused on the attention constantly being on himself. Like, it's just like, but hey, I could be wrong. I don't know him personally. Seems like a great person in general, but he seems like a beep too at the same time. We're gonna keep it censored. But,
all right. So with that being said, I told you we was going to touch on this topic at the beginning of the podcast. As the preseason opened up last week, we were unable to cover that, but hopefully I can get your take on your top performer so far in the preseason.
It ain't really been nobody to talk about. I mean, I'm gonna go with the obvious pick here and say Daniel Jones. I mean, I watched a little bit of a preseason here and there, but like I said, it's difficult to get me up for the preseason. It's just like, all right, I feel like this is just a tease, get me to the regular season. But based on what I saw from Daniel Jones, he looked very impressive. He looked composed. He looked like he had control of the offense. He looked like a general, and he had all the good qualities that you want in a player coming out. He took what was given to him, checked the ball down when he needed to. He didn't get crazy. So I like what I saw. But again, we didn't get to see a lot of them. You know what I mean? So the jury is still out. The NFL week to week, as we know, the NFL works week to week. So one moment you're up, then the next minute you're down. So I know that he's very excited about his performance. I'm pretty sure he feels like he did the best, but it don't stop there, man. Like, you got to continue to work hard and watch your film, and I'm pretty sure he feels like he can get better in certain areas. And we'll see. I like what I saw with him. I don't know about anybody else. What's your pick?
My pick?
Yeah, what's your pick? Who you got?
I'm going to go, where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go down to South Florida.
You better not say Josh Rosen.
Nah, I felt like Josh Rosen, he did okay due to the situation that he was put in, because I agree with you. I can't stand the preseason. That's why it was difficult for me to watch that first Miami Dolphins preseason game, and especially the first couple of plays. I was like, offensive line is still the same. Not protected the quarterback, and Fitzpatrick, he had to step up in the pocket a couple of times. He scrambled a little bit, but the offensive line most definitely needs some work. The offensive line definitely needs some work. So hopefully within the next couple of days, they end up making a call to bring in a veteran offensive lineman, because this offensive line is not going to keep either Josh Rosen or Ryan Fitzpatrick upright. But I felt like Josh Rosen, he actually played pretty well with that terrible offensive line. But that's not my top performer so far. My top performer is Preston Williams. That boy, that's a bad boy, Megs. That's a bad boy. And it's difficult. It's going to be difficult for me to decide, for the Miami Dolphins to decide what wide receivers they're going to actually keep on the roster, because obviously, Kenny Stills, Devontae Parker, Albert Wilson, he's coming back from injury, Jakeem Grant, and then they signed Allen Hurns. They still have Bryce Butler, and then you have the rise of Preston Williams, who had over 100 yards receiving and had a couple of nice catches. Had one nice one-handed catch too as well.
Right.
The Miami Dolphins receiver core is very, very deep. It's deep. It's really deep. But Preston Williams, most definitely, that's going to be my top performer so far, because I'm going to be looking forward to watching him for the next couple of preseason games. Hopefully Josh Rosen will make me a believer and making him that next top performer. But so far, it's going to be Preston Williams.
All right. Well, Preston Williams is a decent player in college. He was okay. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he played for Colorado State.
Yep, Colorado State got dismissed due to, I believe it was some regulation code where he transferred from a different school, and I believe you have to sit out like that 1 year, and then you're able to be eligible for the next year. And at that time, it was time for him to be eligible for the draft. So unfortunately, he went undrafted. Luckily, he just fell into the Miami Dolphins lap, bloop, and it may be possible that he could possibly be the number 2 receiver due to the other issues that are going on in Miami with Kenny Stills. You heard about this story, right?
No. I don't pay much attention to the Dolphins, right?
They're right down the street. So,
hey, but let me say this real quick before you get into that. Let me say this, because I would agree. Preston Williams definitely looks like he's going to be okay. I didn't know he was that big. 6'4", 210.
Yes.
That boy big, man. 6'4", 210 pounds.
That's a bad boy.
4.53 for what I see. Yeah, 4.53.
That's a bad boy.
It's respectable. He can get separation. I mean,
that's a bad boy. I'm playing with him in Madden right now. I'm on my second year. He got an 82 overall. That's a bad boy.
Yeah, we'll see.
So this is where it leads into the whole Kenny Stills situation, because I want to try to keep this podcast as less political as possible. But Stephen Ross, he attended a Donald Trump event, and Kenny Stills is very anti-Trump. So he went on record, because Stephen Ross has been very, very supportive of the black community on black crime. And Stephen Ross attended this Donald Trump event where Kenny Stills went out on tape in front of the media and said that you can't play both sides. So I honestly, I don't know how that one's gonna end up panning out, because of the fact that since Kenny Stills I wouldn't say got into it, he voiced his opinion, but if would Stephen Ross actually try to get rid of him? Which I really find that hard to believe, because that'd be just too that would be just too much. You would know the reason why he was getting traded. There's no easier way for a cover up with that. Like, like you traded him because you felt like he went against what you did, and that's not going to be stood for. And it basically makes you look like a racist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's gonna be interesting how that whole Kenny Stills and Stephen Ross situation boils over.
Well, my opinion on the matter is, I feel like I don't care if we say stuff like, well, we need to separate athletes from sports from politics and all that stuff. I feel like no matter a person's occupation and profession, their First Amendment right should always be fair and free to them, and they should be able to give it at any given time without being criticized just because of their title and where they at. But Kenny Stills, respect his opinion. What he's about. He's always been a hustler. He's a dog. So and he goes after it. I don't know about the owner of the Miami Dolphins. I know that I don't hear a lot of things that he does locally. At least I don't hear about it, and I've been here for all my life. But none of the owners of these teams seem like they really care like that, in my opinion. But just like he's entitled to pick his choose his opinion and voice his opinion, Stephen Ross is allowed to hang out with Donald Trump if he wants to. I don't know if that's considered playing both sides. You really don't know what it's about. It could have been a business decision. It could have been whatever. He probably did it because it was better for himself. Who knows? But it feels good to finally be able to talk about football again. Like last year, being able to watch football without having to deal with the whole kneeling and the NFL did a great job with keeping that stuff away from the sport last year. Though players opinionated, and they still gave their opinions, and they still, a lot of players still were kneeling and all that stuff. You didn't hear about it. But I feel like when it comes down to stuff like that, I feel like they should be allowed to speak and voice their opinions, because when you get off the field, you're no longer an NFL player. You're still an NFL player, but you're not in the game. You're back to being
you're citizen
you are
still.
as a person. Yeah, so I don't feel like they should just shut up and dribble, quote it. You got guys that like LeBron James who are pioneers for politics. They go out and they make it known, and they let people know how they feel about certain situations. And you thank guys like LeBron James, because LeBron has made it, comfortable for players to speak out, because he's comfortable with speaking out. Even with the most recent situation with the NCAA, and them, doing what they got to do to prevent one of his best friends from being the top dog when it came down to recruiting. LeBron said that's not gonna stop us. That's not gonna stop us. We gonna find a way to still get this money, and we gonna find a way to get these players paid. Without having to go through you guys. And that's exactly what ended up happening. One of those, I can't remember the name of the actual player, but he actually signed on with LeBron's brand,
Clutch Sports,
and Clutch Sports, with Clutch Sports, and end up they paid him, I think, like $1 million to go play overseas, which when you're 17, 18 years old, you're not going to turn down $2 million. Like, you're
absolutely not.
You're giving me $2 million. All right, you're giving me $2 million to go overseas and ball on some guys that don't know pretty much nothing about the sport. With respect to those guys overseas, but I'm saying, like,
you give me $500,000, I'm going.
Right, and you pretty much solidified, in the league, and this kid still ends up getting drafted in the NBA. NCAA saw that, they're like, oh no. Oh no, we're not going to have our money not being our money. Like that's not happening, and that's why this is a big deal. But I'm sure LeBron and his team, they're gonna figure something out. They're gonna figure it out. There's a very smart people. It's very smart people. But to Kenny Stills, keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't let nobody shut you up. I respect people who voice their opinion because I'm always voicing mine. So keep doing your thing, man. Just be careful what you say though, because that guy writes your check.
Shoot. You don't want to end up being like the next Colin Kaepernick or Eric Reed.
Right.
That's one thing I will say that is different from the NBA and the NFL is because the NBA is driven by the players, and the NFL is driven by the owners and the commissioner.
Right. And the NBA has always been able to. They've always been very, and that comes down to the commissioners too, because Adam Silver has been very open with and transparent with the players. Listen, this is your league, guys. Like, you guys are the main attraction. You guys sell the tickets, and you guys want to talk about it? Great, talk. You don't see Adam Silver getting in the mix of guys jumping in. Oh, you shouldn't say that. He don't get into that. He lets the guys. He treats them like men. Whereas the NFL treats these guys, these adult men, like kids, like they're cradling them. Like it's not fair. Remember the whole Trayvon Martin thing. It's a sensitive topic as that is, especially in the African American community. The whole Trayvon Martin thing, when Trayvon Martin was murdered, like I said, murdered.
They wore those T-shirts out to
the
warm up.
They wore the hoodies. Yeah, yep. The hoodies. It was Eric Gardner who was choked out by the police officer when he said, "I can't breathe." The very next day or something like that, when
they made the such hoodies with I can't breathe on it.
Said "I can't breathe." So you don't see that in the NFL. In the NFL, if you were to decide to do that, they'll fine you for it. Whereas in the NBA, they're like, "All right, we understand. We understand that you guys are upset. We understand it, and we want you guys to voice your opinion." And that's why the NFL is a better product, in my opinion. The NFL is going to stand out, but the NBA is a better product in terms of allowing those players to be themselves. But yeah,
right. I agree with you. The NBA allows their players to be a little bit more authentic. Like I'm just thinking about that whole Donald Sterling situation. You know how fast they got him up out of office, man.
Right.
Like if it was the NFL, it would have took they would have had to appeal it a year later. Then probably would have went to trial, and then it would have got probably promoted up to a Supreme Court type of case.
Yeah, like just annoying, man. Just yeah, Roger Goodell, man. I miss Paul Tagliabue. I miss him.
I watched. Did you watch that movie Concussion?
Yes, very, very, very good movie.
Yes, it was a good movie, but it just put a brand new image in my head about Roger Goodell, to be quite honest with you. Maybe it might be all propaganda. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but it just gave me a brand new image of what I thought of Roger Goodell from the time
that. I not blame Roger Goodell for that either, though, because a lot of this stuff was happening too when Paul Tagliabue was the commissioner in the league too at that time. As it was elected, a lot of those owners and the commissioner of the league, and they knew about this stuff. They just kept it quiet. And that's what the movie exposes. A lot of these guys knew that this stuff was going on, man. That this concussion thing was a legitimate, real thing. Like, this was really happening out here. And guys were dealing with mental issues. And they were not themselves after they left the game. And not to go. But which is why I understand why. See, people don't like when you think logically. And I always consider myself a logical thinker, where I try to understand both halves of the field. I understand why people are upset with Roger Goodell. I get it. As a fan, I'm upset with him too. But I understand that he has a job to protect
and an image to maintain.
Yeah. So I definitely have to tip Goodell to the fact that he's done a lot of things to make the sport safe. And you cannot be mad at the guy for doing what he has to do to make the sport safe for myself, for anybody else, your kids, your children, your grandchildren. He's doing his best, and what he's, I have to tip my hat off to him for that. Though it's not, football is a gladiator sport. I understand it's a contact sport. It is the contact sport in the whole world. It doesn't mean it has to be played all barbaric. Like you got to clothesline people and all that stuff. That's just that's just unnecessary.
Right.
That's just unnecessary. I like the way the NFL is played now for the most part. And the Super Bowl show that, the Super Bowl and the playoffs. I love the playoffs and I love the Super Bowl because all those points that you see get scored in the regular season, that don't happen in the playoffs. Playoffs, guys come and bring the A game because it's one and done. So a lot of times you see these really good defenses in the playoffs, and everybody playing a lot better. Even with the Rams last season in the playoffs, it actually surprised me how well we played defense up to the Super Bowl. Even in the Super Bowl, we played great defense. We played the best defense that I have ever seen a Super Bowl opponent play against Tom Brady. Well, no, let me not say that because the New York Giants did their thing too. They definitely did their thing. But I mean, we held the Patriots to what, 17 points, 14 points? I mean, come 13. On, bro. Right? You don't see that. Like, you kept Tom Brady off the scoreboard for the most part. So
that's true. I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that the defense held y'all scoreless.
Right, it did, and we shot ourselves in the foot. But then you get people complain that the NFL don't play defense no more. They don't play defense. But then when you play defense, this game is boring. What is it? Like you can't like you want? Do you want?
At the end of the day, it doesn't sell tickets.
Right, exactly.
To the casual fan, it does not sell tickets. But if you get like intermediate or expert fan like me or you or I, excuse me, I'm working on my vocabulary, you or I, but you or I, like we find an interest in that. We find offensive struggles a good game. And to be honest with you, I felt like that Super Bowl was a very good game, even though the outcome didn't exactly turn out the way that I wanted it to be, but it was a good game in my opinion. Like that. What year was that? 2014 Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. To be quite honest with you, I was just not interested in that game, honestly.
Man, what Seattle did to Peyton Manning was just, I remember that. But Seattle, what the Peyton Manning was just, I loved every minute of it. Peyton Manning's better than Tom Brady. Yeah, whatever.
What is your beef with Peyton Manning? Like, literally, what is your beef with Peyton Manning?
There's no.
It sounds like there's a beef.
There's no beef. Let me say this because I want to clear the air. Peyton Manning is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. But the best quarterback to play in the NFL is Tom Brady. End of discussion. Peyton Manning should have had more than what he actually walked away with. But he got it, so I can't knock him. He got it. I'm just saying, to me, Peyton Manning is one of the best regular season quarterbacks you will ever see. For some reason, in the playoffs, I'm just saying, his playoff record ain't that great. Yeah.
I just want to put this out to you right now. If we ever have this topic again, anywhere in the future, I want the whole 60 minutes to have this conversation because
it's just one stat I want to bring up right here. I'm sorry. This is one stat because I know you thought, and I'm going to kill your argument in every way I can, but this is going to be the deal breaker. Per ESPN.com, Tom Brady is 22-8 and this is as of January 20th, 2016. I guess this is around the time Peyton Manning was walking away from the game. At that time, he had the most playoff wins in NFL history. Peyton Manning was 12-13, has the most playoff losses in NFL history, including 9 one-and-done postseasons. Brady is 4-2 in the Super Bowl, while Manning was 1-2. And this is as of January 20th, 2016. So, like I'm saying, facts are Peyton Manning isn't one of the greatest quarterbacks.
You said 1-2.
You know, yeah. Well, this is as of this article is as of January
2-2,
2016. Oh, that's why I said it was as of ESPN.com, January 20th, 2016. Now we can also check that points and find out how he has too from Pro Football Reference. But like I said, I know what I'm talking about. Peyton Manning wasn't a great player in the playoffs. Put up numbers, but it didn't translate to nothing. And want to know who had a lot to do with that? Tom Brady.
I'm guessing Peyton Manning threw the pick to Tom Brady, not Todd Law, huh?
Hey, it doesn't matter. Tom Brady had the Colts back against the wall a lot. It's like the supposed to beat Tom Brady in the playoffs a lot of times. Oh, Steelers are going to beat him. Guess what? Lost. Man, it's great, man. Greatest quarterback ever.
Greatest system quarterback ever. Don't forget.
I don't care what system he's in. I don't care what system.
Are you serious? You say you don't care about any system? If you literally had the opportunity to draft a quarterback, it doesn't any head coach outside of Bill Belichick, would you take Tom Brady?
Yes, I would if I had Tom Brady at this level. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. If my system was the way it is, you would. The whole system thing is just another thing that people try to bring up to knock Brady. That's complete nonsense. You're supposed to pick a quarterback that fits your system. Why would you not pick somebody? Why? Like, why would you pick somebody that
I'm not disputing that.
Goes against your philosophy. I don't get it.
I'm not disputing that. But when a quarterback clearly is the system and they have success as the quarterback, the system, there's a totally different level.
Has any other quarterback won the New England Patriots a Super Bowl? Yes or no?
It don't matter.
No. It does matter.
It does not matter.
Quarterback won the New England Patriots a Super Bowl? Yes or no?
It doesn't matter. No, they haven't, but it doesn't matter. Matt Castle still went 11-5. That is a playoff record.
Did he win a Super Bowl?
11-5 is a playoff record. It's unfortunate they didn't make it to the playoffs, but that's a playoff record. You can't just exclude.
Did they win the Super Bowl?
No, but Tom Brady doesn't win the Super Bowl every year. There have been years where Tom Brady's bounced out of the playoffs.
Right, you're right. You're 100% right. But there's more times he's went to the Super Bowl and won than he's lost. That's all.
So Matt Castle's first year as the NFL quarterback for the New England Patriots, he takes them to 11-5.
So where's Matt Castle now? Why didn't Matt Castle have that success? If it was a system thing, why not? Why didn't the other teams who picked them up, like the Vikings and everything, take the system from New England?
Because that's how great of a coach Bill Belichick is. Because that's a great of a coach Bill Belichick is.
That's a good point. That's a great point. You brought up a great point there. It's Belichick, Brady. Belichick, Brady. Everybody knows that.
I've had any time that you decide you want to talk about Brady being the greatest, like I tell everybody else I have this conversation with, Bill Belichick better be in front of that statement every single time. Every single time.
Absolutely. Why would I not?
All right, there's no, because when you sit back and talk about Dan Marino, it's just Dan Marino. When you talk about Aaron Rodgers, I don't hear.
Well, let's not forget, the guy had Charlie Weiss, Eric Mangini. What's the other guy they got now? Josh McDaniels. He's been fortunate. He's had some really great offensive coordinators as well. But
a terrible head coach. A terrible head coach.
No. Who? Bill Belichick?
No. We're talking about Eric Mangini. He's been a terrible head coach. He had one little good year with the New York Jets. And then you have Bill O'Brien. This jury's still out on Bill O'Brien. To be honest with you, I think Bill O'Brien's a little bit overrated. Charlie Weiss. Did he coach the NFL team or did he just go straight to Notre Dame?
Charlie Weiss coached. No, I think he went Notre Dame, straight to Notre Dame. Yeah, Romeo Crennel coached.
Yeah, Romeo Crennel. I felt like that was a terrible situation for him to go to.
Well, Romeo Crennel
the Cleveland Browns,
offensive coordinator. Yeah, I mean the Browns, bro. Like, come on, like serious.
Right. Did Romeo go to the Raiders too, or was that Art Shell?
That was Art Shell. Art Shell lasted
Right.
like 6 minutes and he was gone.
Right. Okay. So Art Shell, that was Art Shell. Yeah, that was the Jamarcus Russell year. Or was that Lane Kiffin?
Oh God, Marcus Russell. I don't even want to talk about that bum. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, as far as the Bill Belichick tree, no head coach has been successful. No disciple from the Belichick tree has been successful in the NFL except for Bill O'Brien. And next in line is, guess who? Brian Flores. So I have my fingers crossed. Hopefully he's the diamond.
We'll see. We'll see. He's off to a good start with the Dolphins being 1-0 and going to the Super Bowl.
I don't count it. He still has to do. I'll tell you one thing. One thing that annoys the hell out of me though is the fact that I've even listening to some of these beat writers reading comments and tweets, and like some of these fans that be making statements about Brian Flores so far as a head coach, and then they just keep on comparing him to Adam Gase, which I felt like Adam Gase was an excellent head coach for the Miami Dolphins, and I'll repeat that again. I felt like he was an excellent head coach for the Miami Dolphins. It's just that what irks me about that is that it's just been one preseason game and you guys are already praising Brian Flores, naming him the better head coach than Adam Gase already. Like, that just drives me crazy.
Because he is. I stand behind that opinion.
That's bull jive.
Again, I don't think Adam Gase was a great play caller. There's a lot. He seemed lost. Not a big Adam Gase guy. I don't see it. But the hype was about.
I hate the Jets, but he's going to make the Jets a playoff team this year.
No, Le'Veon Bell is going to make the Jets good. Not Adam Gase.
No. This is what Adam Gase is going to do for Le'Veon. Le'Veon is going to lead the league from yards from scrimmage, and that's due to Adam Gase. Nothing else. Yes, Le'Veon Bell's talent is going to pay dividends in that, but what Adam Gase likes to do, he likes to get a receiving back involved.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Still out. Yeah, I mean the Jets didn't look that great in the preseason game, but we'll see. The jury's still out.
Jury's still out. Okay. Well, Adam Gase, he likes to hold things pretty close to the chest. He won't bring out his great play calling until the regular season. Hopefully, all the offensive players stay healthy compared to what we had in Miami. Goodness gracious, due to what he had to work with in Miami, I felt like he did a good job.
Right. If you say so. They didn't make the playoffs only but once. In like 5 years, 6 years. So,
and guess what? They were still in the running.
Wait, what's his record in the NFL?
Let's see. The first year, 2016, he was 10-6. Second season was 6-10.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll save you time. 23-26, which is a 46% win percentage.
That's not a bad record.
Postseason.
That's not a bad record.
0%, and a regular season.
That's not a bad record.
23-25, which is 48%.
Do me a favor. Google up what Jeff Fisher's record is.
Head coach.
Google up what Jeff Fisher's record is.
I would be surprised if Jeff Fisher has a winning record because Jeff Fisher was a bum.
Yeah, he was a bum. But guess what?
He was a bum.
Until he got to, it took him to him to get to the Rams for them to realize that.
He recorded the postseason at 5-6. He has 173 regular season wins, 165 losses, which is 51%, which is respectable. Career 178 with 171 losses, which is 51%. So he's a winning NFL coach, which means, he was respectable. He had his Jeff Fisher's issue was the fact that he didn't want to buy into the NFL, the new NFL. to keep things traditional, which is why uh, uh, our quarterback looked the way he did, which is why Jared Goff looked the way he did. It's kind of like trying to see Bill Cowher come back and coach the NFL, which everybody keeps telling him to do, which I don't think he's going to do. I don't think Bill Cowher should be coaching anymore because the NFL is light years more differently than it was in his era. John Gruden can get away with it because guess what? John Gruden understands the philosophies of the NFL. He's coached them up. John Gruden is a film guy. He's always been a film guy. Overrated, but yeah, film guy. He definitely knows his stuff. Overrated, but knows his stuff. And Tony Dungy, just for the record, Tony Dungy, if he had not been fired, the very next year would have won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they fired him. That was messed up. But I'm happy Tony Dungy went out there and got it because that's a good coach. Tony Dungy is a great coach. Great motivator as well.
You know, I see what you're trying to do.
What am I trying to do?
No comment. You said what? Because I know you knew about this Dallas Cowboys stuff, but you was trying to hold that one off as much as possible because you knew I was going to bring it up, huh? You said, "Oh, we just got 10 minutes left on the podcast. We somehow we can get DeVore off topic real fast." But nah, we not doing that. we not doing that. We not doing that. So the ongoing topic over probably since the birth of the podcast has been the Dallas Cowboys and their contract situations with Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, and Amari Cooper. Now, our good old co-host Wes sent us a text saying that the Dallas Cowboys offered Dak Prescott a $30 million per year contract, and he declined that. Now, with that being said, based off me reading this off of context, that must mean he thinks that he is a top 5 quarterback in this league. Now, is that a yes for you or is that a no for you? Because I know you a little bit of a fanboy when it comes to Dak. Like you a little suspect to be.
And yes, in terms of what? Is he a top 5 quarterback?
Yes.
No, I've already gave my top 5 quarterbacks on the list, and Dak was not in it, and I'm not going to change.
I know, because you would literally lose all the credibility on this podcast if you did.
I set myself
all the credibility.
I want this podcast to succeed. I want this podcast to succeed, and it will succeed, but it will not succeed saying stupid stuff like that. That is not a top 5. He's not a top 5 quarterback. He's top 15, somewhere around that. The guy can play football, man. I don't know why everybody keeps doubting him. Is he a great decision maker? No, I feel like he thinks too much when he's out there, which is why he makes some of the throws he makes. I don't feel like he trusts his arm sometimes, but I feel like that's going to come with time. It gets better with time, like wine, like a fine wine. It gets better with time. The longer you treat it and you leave it up and you take care of it, it gets better when you taste it. That is going to be all right. The Dallas Cowboys are in a lot better position than a lot of people in the NFL. Not too many people can say they have a quarterback that can compete. What I like about him is the fact that he doesn't seem to want to take a loss. He goes out there every game and he competes. He looks like a professional quarterback, and he has what it takes. His first year coming off the NFL, taking over for Tony Romo. The Dak train was rolling that year. I mean, he has what it takes. He can lead that team, man.
The Dak train, the Zeke train.
He can lead that team. Oh yeah, well we already know who's the best player on the team. The best player on the team.
Okay, good. Good. I'm happy you came to your senses about that. I'm so happy you came to your senses about that.
But with that being said, there's a but here. Ezekiel Elliott is the best player on the team, but that does not mean the Dallas Cowboys are not going to pay Dak Prescott. The NFL market is resetting every single year. I think right now they're trying to find a way where they can pay all 3 of those guys, because I think Dallas is on to something good with Dak, Zeke, and Amari Cooper. They're on to something great with them. Just my opinion. One of those.
See, I don't understand why you're wasting your time. Like, you could literally go out and get another quarterback.
To do what? To do what though? When you don't know,
let me ask you.
Telling people that what quarterback is out there for them to take that they're going to take their chance on them. Who?
I'll give you 3 quarterbacks off the top of my head that I know that are better than Dak Prescott.
Okay, DeVore, go ahead. Tell me if the Dallas Cowboys can get him. Just also tell me that.
Okay, let's say, for the sake of argument, if Andy Dalton doesn't work out with the Cincinnati Bengals, I think he's better than Dak.
You out your mind.
He's better than Dak.
You out your mind.
He's better.
You out your mind.
Right. Number 2, Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's better than Dak.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
And my boy down there in Tennessee who threw 2 touchdown passes in the preseason game. We know he better than Dak. We know he better than Dak.
Guys, it was great.
Oh, did you see how he dropped that ball in the bread basket though to the tight end in the back of the end zone? It was a 50-yard pass, boy. He put that right in the bread basket. If I could roll the clip, I would roll the clip.
Oh, my head is hurting. And I had a great day today. And you just bust my whole vibe up with this Ryan Tannehill. Beep. This is crazy. Ryan Tannehill message. If this, because you know I always give messages. If you pay attention to that, I give messages to all these on almost every podcast. This message is for you, Ryan Tannehill. There is some guy who believes in you in this world. His name is James DeVore. He loves you, Ryan Tannehill, and he thinks that you have the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Please show this guy that you can be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Because I'm tired of my friend being wrong. He's been wrong about you for, I don't know, every year since I've known him. So
I haven't been wrong. Like I stand by my convictions. I'm gonna stay.
Trash. Brian Tannehill is trash.
I'm gonna stand by my convictions. By week 5, Ryan Tannehill will be the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, and Marcus Mariota will be looking for a new home. Dallas will be a good spot. As much as you said, what?
Who's worse? Case Keenum or Ryan Tannehill?
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum is a winning quarterback.
That's bull job. No, it's not.
That's just
what happened with the Denver. What happened with the Denver? I'll wait more than done.
Let's just pull up the stats.
Pull it up.
Let's just pull up the stats.
I know. You see, there's a difference between record and eye test. And what my eye test tells me, Case Keenum is not even in the same universe as Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is a bad boy if he gets an offensive line, which is unfortunate if the Dallas Cowboys decide to move on from Dak because it's looking like it. If he turned down $30 million, I appreciate that, West, for the report. If he turned down $30 million a year, you might be time for you to sing a different tune, Dallas fans.
Really
might be looking for a new quarterback.
Really quick. You want to know the difference here from this stat compared with one big glaring stat that's a big difference between Case Keenum and Ryan Tannehill, and that's separate them two. You want to know what that stat is?
What is that?
Case Keenum has 2 playoff wins in his career. End of discussion.
No. Are we literally comparing this? That's what I mean. Eye test. He basically had the best defense in the league that year.
In his NFL career.
The best defense in the league. And you know what? He barely got them 2 playoff wins. Why do you think they went out and got Kirk Cousins? Because they knew Case Keenum could not get the job done. That dude almost cost them 2 games. 2 games.
And doesn't
against the Saints and who against y'all? Didn't they play y'all?
11-13 record. 1 game away from the NFC Championship. NFC North Division title. 2 playoff wins.
I cannot believe you in this nonsense. This is what I'm talking about. You're gonna have to stop using the statistics. The statistics do play a big part, but you're gonna have to use the eye test too as well. What does your eyes tell you as far as quarterback, as far as decision making? This is what I don't be understanding about people that are Dak Prescott fans. Use your eye test. Yes, understandably, he has the best record as a quarterback over the past 3 years outside of Tom Brady, if I'm not mistaken. But what does your eye test tell you? My eye test tells me that Dak skips the ball to Zeke Elliott every chance that he could possibly get. That's why Zeke Elliott has probably one of the best receiving backs in football, statistically wise. And Dak Prescott misses wide open receivers down the field. That's just fact. And he just holds on to the ball too long. Have one of the best offensive lines in football and just holds on to the ball way too long. Do I need to go on?
Please don't. Because I really want a conversation when I said Case Keenum has 2 playoff.
And like I said, Case Keenum nearly costed the Vikings on more than one occasion playoff games. And that's why they decided they wanted to move on from him, because they knew when it comes to the playoffs compared to the regular season, it is a whole different animal. You're going to have to rely on your quarterback to win you games.
Yeah, whatever. The stat of the day is Case Keenum has 2 playoff victories, and even I was not even. I forgot about that, and I don't even like Case Keenum, but I must give it to him. He was of a player for the Los Angeles Rams when he was there. He kept us competitive week after week, and I'm just saying
he's terrible. That's just like saying he's like a cheap little knockoff from Ryan Fitzpatrick. If you ask me, he's gonna be the next Ryan Fitzpatrick. Really. He's gonna what?
He has 2 playoff victories.
yeah, I heard you the first 3 times. But he's gonna be the cheap knockoff of Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's probably gonna be one of the oldest quarterbacks in the league for the next 12, 13 years. That's gonna be one of those, what do they call those? A bridge quarterback, where he comes in there after a rookie quarterback comes in. He gonna come in there for a couple of games, stink up the joint, and then he gonna sit his hind parts right on the bench, right next to the head coach, and let the rookie go in and play.
What? How old are you, man? How old are you again? He said hind parts. That's one for the old folks. Hind parts. I haven't heard it in years. Oh my God! Hi, bring your hiney here.
But with that being said, if you guys made it this far in the podcast, I appreciate everybody that actually listened to the podcast in its entirety. Me and Banks and Wes, unfortunately, again, he couldn't make it this morning, but we're working diligently, to have a consistent thing going on here. Please bear with us with that. Banks, is there anything else you'd like to add before we close out?
Nothing, man. Nothing at all. But don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please visit the YouTube channel, Not For Debate. I really appreciate you guys. Go out and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget, visit my boy Great One Divorce page on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, do all the things that you can to help support us as we try our best to make this one of the best podcasts. Sports podcast in the nation. That's why I see this thing going. But we need you guys to support. So to tell a friend, the NFL season is coming, man. Hopefully you guys get to hear back from us before the season starts. But if not, we'll be definitely talking to you guys more in the season. And I can't wait for it, man. I'm excited. Football's back, bro.
I can't wait to see my Niners. I can't wait to see how my Niners do.
We're going to say that for the next podcast. I actually was reviewing the 49ers and this past preseason, and I must say they actually look really good.
Can we run the tape back to when we sit back and talk about the Niners? Can we run that back? We need to hire a producer.
Oh, you definitely can, but that's for the next episode.
We need to hire a producer. Again, I appreciate everybody that came through. This is the Not For Debate team. We are out.
Yo.